Hey everybody, this is Bobby. This discussion asks you to identify an interactive web mapping site and then discuss that. Um, Personally, I haven't had a lot of luck finding different crime mapping websites. So I wanted to give you guys a little help with that. I'm going to leave a link there in my response to LexisNexis Community Crime Map. So I wanted to give you a quick tutorial. It's very self-explanatory stuff. It's real easy to use, but I wanted to go through it so you have a good idea of what this website can do as far as crime analysis. So first you'll click the link, of course, and it's going to show you the whole United States and then some. But we're going to want to focus on one specific city, one area. There's two different ways you can do that. First, you can come over here and where it says jump to city, you can drop down. I'm going to look at Fort Lauderdale, Florida, because I've done my homework and I know that their crime map actually does show a lot of information. One thing to point out is that not every city, as a matter of fact, most of the cities you're going to look up on here do not participate in this site. So you have to find one that does participate. And like I said, I found Fort Lauderdale, Florida does have quite a bit of information on their crime map. Now that's one way you could do it. You could just click it there. Or in my opinion, the easier way is to click Florida, and then it'll show you the areas that are supposed to be feeding information into this website. And then so you're just going to click Fort Lauderdale. And wow, look at all that information. So there's a whole lot of information there, and it's kind of jumbly and hard to decipher if you just look at it like that. So let me explain what you're looking at. First, there's all these little icons. All these little icons are pinpointing a different crime that's happened. Now, if you hover over those icons, it'll tell you what that icon means. So if every time you see this little car, it's a motor vehicle theft. Every time you see this little bag of money, it's going to be a theft. This one's kind of cool. It's a commercial robbery. Not cool at all, right? But anyway, they do distinguish between commercial robbery and plain old person-to-person robbery, and that's going to be individual robbery right there. So anyway, all of these different icons mean different things, and like I said, you can hover over each one to see what they mean. Now, one thing I want to show you is these that have numbers in them. That means that there have been more than one incident at that location. So if you click that, it's going to actually give you the information on those incidents. Well, let me move my map down so you can see it. So first we had a theft at that address. Notice that address. Then we had a robbery at that address. Then we had a bicycle theft at that address. Now I'm going to do this just to help me later. I'm going to recenter my map. Okay, so also notice that this date range over here is set for the previous month. This is showing you information. This is incidents that have happened between March 29th and April 28th. So it's only showing you for the previous month from today's date. If you want to sort by events, and I'm going to show you later why this is very handy, when you click that event tab, you can check the events that you actually want to see on the map. Offenders, this one's kind of cool. If you click on this little box here, put a check in that box, it's going to show you where the sex offenders are in your area that you're looking at. If you click on that, it's going to pop up and show a picture of the, well, let's go ahead and do it. Might have to recenter my map again. But it shows you a picture of the offender, the address that they live at, and a little bit about their offense. There's one. Here's one up here. Okay, so let's recenter again. Okay. So that's the offenders tab. Analytics layers. Now, like I said when we first got here, this is pretty, a lot of information to process, and just visually looking at it, it's kind of hard to see exactly where things are bad. This is a big cluster right here. There's a cluster up here. There's a little cluster here. There's things you can spot, but it doesn't really show that well because all you're looking at is a bunch of tiny little icons. So let's do this. Let's click on analytic layers and click density map. Now you can see that by far this little cluster right here is the most activity. So as a police administrator, that might be where you want to focus some extra police resources. Or we've talked about different crime theories like social disorganization. You might want to take a look at what's going on in that community, what you might be able to improve to change how inviting that area is to criminals. But there's also all sorts of ways you can consider your hot spots. That's what that is a hot spot. The green area here is also, I would consider that a hot spot. It's just not as hot as right there. Agency layers, that just lists the agencies that are participating in the area that we're looking at here on this map right now. And then there's, like every website, there's an About Me kind of tab there. So this is about LexisNexis. There's also, notice some tabs up here. Right now we're on the Map tab. We can also jump to the data grid, which is awesome because it lists all the crimes with all the information. You can sort that out by class. You can sort it by incident. You can sort it by crime. And maybe if you're wanting to move to a certain area and you want to see where not to move, you might want to take a look at sorting them by address. And I would say this Northeast 4th Avenue is probably not a good place to rent if you're gonna move to that area. But anyway, you can do it by address and agency, which you saw two agencies over here in the agency layers. So if you want to sort out the crimes based on which agency reported the incident, you can do that here by sorting by agency. Okay, now again, we are talking about crime analysis, so this analytics tab is very helpful to crime analysts. You can see it breaks down all the different types of crime, and theft is by far the biggest crime that's happening in that Fort Lauderdale area. It's more than half of the crime that's being committed. You also have a crime type by the day of the week. You have a bar chart here that's crime class timeline by the day. And this right here, since now you know how to read those hot spots and spot the hot spots on the location map. Remember, in crime mapping, we're looking at location and time. So this is going to tell us what day and time are hot spots. So you can see here on Friday at around 11 o'clock, that was a hot spot. That was a high crime time. Pretty high down here on Tuesday at 11. and again down here between 5 and 6 on Monday. So that analytics page gives us a lot of great information. Then there's the metadata, which just tells us again about the police departments that are participating. Now let's go back to the map view. And I wanted to show you what happens if I take the event and I just want to research one crime. Okay, I'm going to jump to a different page that I've already opened and show you how that'll work out. Since we know that theft is the biggest problem, let's just leave theft up there. We're gonna try to figure out how to lower the theft rate in our city. Okay, so now all that's left is theft. Now let's run the analytic layers. Get a density map. And no surprise, it's pretty much the same, but let's bounce back and forth here. I'll show you. This was all crimes, and this is theft. So with theft being the highest number of incidents reported, of course the map is going to look pretty similar if you're looking at only theft, because that is our biggest crime that we're worried about. Now let's look at sexual assault and see what happens. Well, guess what? It's almost identical to the full page with all the crimes listed. So anyway, I hope that helps. The only thing I haven't shown you, I think, is this satellite image. You're all familiar with like Google Maps, so that's what that does, is it gives you a map that you can zoom down and look at the different areas of the city. I hope this helps you out. That's another thing right there that I forgot to tell you. This crime mapping is only going to show you the area that you previously were on when you clicked this density map. So if you want to make a bigger area, take a bigger look, hit this calculate again. And now you're seeing the sexual assault map for this entire area. All right, again, I hope that helped. I tried not to be too long-winded. I don't think it was too bad. But anyway, if you have any issues, give me a call or text at 270-312-0424 or email me at bdouglas@daymarcollege.edu. Thanks a lot, everybody.